In this video, I'm going to go through the first homework problem from the first set of homework problems that we have. And I'm doing it live, so I haven't done it before just now, so we'll see how it goes. Could be some errors. So I'm logged into the server already. I'm going to go ahead and just think my cursor working, change the directory to the CSC 2180. Again, when you're here, that means that you've turned stuff in. We have stuff here. Okay. So I've already got started with this arraystats.cpp. And what I've done, I've basically taken the problem description and I've copied it over, cut and pasted over. I think it's easier for the video to have it here. You can do this in your own program if you want. I've reformatted it a little bit. So for example, this line here, when we're reading so let's go through. Read in integers where n is less than or equal to 100 into an array. So we know we can have up to 100. We have to worry about that. Read the array size and elements from the user. Okay, so we're going to ask the user how big the array is going to be, which means we have to use a dynamic array. So I went ahead and looked up and refreshed my memory that if I wanted to create a dynamic array, I do an int star with the array names equal to new int, then whatever size they've put in. Okay. Once I've created something with a new, I'm going to have to use the delete to get rid of it. Okay. Then we're going to have separate functions for finding the minimum, the maximum, and computing the average. Output all results clearly. So we have to let people, let them know what's happened. Constraints here to use an array, not a vector. Okay. If you talked about vectors, probably at the end of your C++ class, don't use those here. And do not perform the calculations directly in main. So we don't want to add up the sum while we're going through. We want to instead send it to the function, have it come back. And the arraystats.exe is what it should be called. And the printing should occur in main. So print nothing out from the outside. Okay. So I've gone ahead and got the shell of my program going here with my include statement for IOStream, my using namespace standard. So I think the first thing I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to create the dynamic array. Okay, so I guess first I'm going to ask the user how big to make the array. Okay, and you don't need as many comments, but when you're learning, it helps to kind of scaffold out what you're doing here. Okay, so I can say cout, enter the size of the array. Okay, no new line character there, and then do a cn. Got to create a variable for it. So I'm going to say int size equals 0. Doesn't matter if it's 0, I'm going to set it right away, but better safe than sorry. Okay, so I'm going to cn on that size. Okay. And I need to worry later about if it is between 1 and 100. Worry about that later. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add um, some stuff there so I won't forget that. Okay. So now that I have that, I should be able to go ahead and create my dynamic array. Okay. So to do that, I've got the code right up here that I looked up. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and kill that and yank it back into place. Go down to here, or you can just type it again if you want. It doesn't matter. Go to here, yank it there. And now I can just say int my array. I don't think it said what the array needed to be named. Let's see, into an array. That's fine. So we can just leave it at my array. That's fine. So new is creating it dynamically based on the size that they input. Okay. Then we have to delete the array when we're done. So do a delete. I think the delete looks like that for an array. Nope. The my array. Find the home keys. There we go. My array. I think it looks like that. Let's see. Let's go ahead and compile it now, right? So I'm going to do a G++ on arraystats.cpp. I'm not going to worry about the rest of it. The wall as a new programmer is probably not. Let's do the wall. Just to show you. I'm not going to do the output file yet because that's okay. Okay, that worked, right? So no issues so far. I can go ahead and run it. Again, I didn't say, so it's an A dot out, and I shouldn't blow up. So let's do a 10. It creates it, it deletes it. So we're fine. Okay. So far, so good, as far as we know. Okay. So I think the next thing is we have to allow the user to enter the array. Okay. We'll leave that there for now. We're going to create the array. We're going to have user enter the data into the array. Okay. So for this, we can have a for loop here. I'm going to use I as my variable for I equals 0, as long as I is less than the size. Okay, so less than, not less than or equal to, because if I have 10 elements, then nine's the last valid value for the array position. Okay, and then do an I plus plus. Okay, I'm going to go through. I'm going to ask user for an int. We should verify, but we're not going to. Okay. So again, we have our C out. We can ask them to enter an integer. Okay. And we're going to C in. We need a variable for that. So before we get started, we can say int n would be fine. Okay. That's going to be our n. Okay. Once I have that, I can say my array sub I is equal to n. Okay. So that should go around from 0 up to the size. So this assumes that our array is full, okay, which the problem says we didn't say we have to do something different, so we can do that and we're fine. Okay. So that's going to get us through that. So we can go ahead and run this now. See if we've caused any trouble. That seems okay. That seems okay. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Decent enough. Okay. So now let's go back into our code and see what else we have to do. Okay. So I'm not dealing with the less than 100 yet, less or equal to 100 yet, but I am reading this in and I'm doing the dynamic array. So I'm going to go ahead to mark this as done. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I've got to delete in there, so we're good. Okay. So now we need a function to find the minimum value. Okay. So I do that before int main. Going to create a function. It's going to return an integer with the lowest value. Okay. Going to call this min value. There may be a min function out there, so I don't know if I can call it min or not. Okay. What's it going to take? It's going to take an array. Okay. So that's going to be the int. And then when I'm sending this along, I have to make sure that I tell it that it's an array. Okay. So to do that, then I have to make sure I put that when I'm passing it along. Okay. So when I do that in the function, I put the brackets there. Okay. So I think I put them right there. Okay. I think that's how that works. If it doesn't work that way, guess what? It's going to give us an error. Okay. So when I pass that to the function, that's not enough. Okay. I have to also send along the size just to make sure that it's working. If not, because remember, unlike some languages, we don't have the ability to um, to send along, do we have the ability to determine the size directly from it? Okay, so I think if I say int, everything's quite working here. There we go. Int, we can call it my array. We don't have to. My array bracket. Okay, and int size. Okay. I'm using the same variable names from main, but I don't have to. Okay. So we have to return an int. So let's just go ahead and return um, my array at position 0. Okay. I'm just testing to make sure this is working. Okay. So I can now go down here and say, cout, it's going to be a test data. So I'm going to put something there so I know it's not to be kept. Okay. Although we're going to do this eventually anyway. So I can say minimum value in array is, okay, and then I can have, since the minimum value function returns a value, let's go ahead and put that here. Minimum, how did I call it exactly? Or get it wrong. Oh, just min value. There we go. I thought I was going wrong with that. So it's going to return the min value of what? Send along my array and send along size. The new line. Okay. That's not really calculating the minimum, but it is going to send back the very first element of the array. Okay. So let me run it again. So far, so good. No typos yet. Going to run it. Make it 5, so I don't have to type too much. Do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it prints out the minimum array value is 1, which is correct. First thing. Okay. So we've got the basics of that, but we have to get it to actually work. So how are we going to find the minimum value? So I use like I went to call, well, I like to call the king of the hill algorithm. The king of the real hill algorithm says that I assume that the first element of my array is the smallest, and then I check it against all of the others and change the smallest if I need to. Okay. So I can start by saying that if smallest is equal to my array at position 0. Okay. I need to loop now. So for int I equals 0, sorry, I can start at 1. I don't have to worry about 0 anymore. I less than size, I plus plus, same deal there. Okay. Although this time I'm going to say if the new value I've gotten. So if my array sub I, if it's smaller than smallest, okay, if that's the case, now the smallest is equal to my array at position I. Okay. That's all we have to do, right? That's going to go through, and whichever one's the smallest will get transferred to the smallest variable, and then I can just return smallest. Okay, see if this works. File it again. So far, so good. And run it, do 5 again. So if I do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the minimum is 1, which that's not a very good test. So let's test it again. Let's do 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oh, I didn't do a 5. 6. Minimum value is still 1. That's good. We can try it to hide in the middle. Okay, I want 5. I want 4, 2, 1, 6, 8. And it's still coming back as 1. So I'm pretty confident that's okay. So now let's go back into our program. Finding the minimum value is good. Okay, so I want to, let's see, something I wanted to change, not there. Maybe there wasn't. Okay, so the max value is going to use that same king of the hill. So I think I can probably cut and paste it. So I kill it, I yank it. But this one I'm going to call max value. It still takes the my array and the size. But this time I'm going to set, same idea, I'm going to say the largest is equal to my array sub 0. Okay, go through the same count. But this time I'm checking for if the current position is greater than the largest. Go ahead and set the largest equal to that position. Okay, and then return the largest. Okay, seems okay. So let me go down here and pick the min value. Go ahead and say max here, say maximum. Maximum value in the array. Okay, test it, see if it works. No errors yet. It's my lucky day. Do 5. If I do 2, 4, 8, 4, 5, it returns the largest value is 8, right? I can do some more testing, but I think that seems to be working. Seems okay. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back in. So now I've got that done. So now I have to compute the average. Okay. And I'm not using a vector, which is fine. I'm not doing any calculations in mind. Okay. We got that. Printing's occurring in main. We're okay there. So our constraints are taken care of. Okay. So that all that, and I think we're outputting our stuff clearly. That's okay. So all that we have left to do is worry about that n less than or equal to 100. Got to deal with that. But also we can compute the average. That's it. Okay. So it's going to create another function here. And call this int average. Okay. Actually, I'm going to change that to double average, just in case we have a fractional number. Okay. It's going to take, again, int my array, and it's going to take an int size. Okay. This time, we have size, so we don't have to calculate that as we're going along. So all we need to know is the int sum. Okay. And we can do an int for sum and then upcast it to a double, which is what we did in class before. So that's probably what we should do. Right. So again, I'm going to say 4. And this time it's equal to 0, so I'm not excluding any. I less than size, I plus plus. Okay. So that's not what I tried to do. There we go. So inside of here, I'm going to let sum plus equal my array bracket I. Okay. Should be all we have to do there. Going to sum up the numbers, and then I can just return double sum divided by size. Okay. That should work. So down here, all I have to do is take this same guy there and say average of array is the average function. Let's edit that stuff. Okay. We're deleting that at the end. Should be good. Okay. Let's take a look. Run it again. Didn't like something at line 54. Glad I finally made one mistake. Let's go down. Notice that over here it shows the line numbers at the bottom. So we can see where we're at. Go down to 54 and see what it does at line. I've got one too many bracket. I think that was the issue. Okay, try it again. Now it seems happy. Run it again. Size of the array 5. For the array, to make it simple, let's make it all threes. Okay, it gives us an array of 3.2. That is not correct. Okay, so the average should be equal to 3. So what could we have done wrong? Okay, so let's see. It's in this one here. Okay, so I'm summing things up. We can check to make sure that the sum is being done correctly, and then we can get, let's check that. Looks like it's okay. So let's put a C out here. Again, this is test data, so I'll let to know that. Say sum is sum. Okay, so if I do five fives, this should be equal to 15. Okay, see how that is. See, that's what our problem is. File it, run it. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's equal to 16, which is why we're wrong. It's very interesting. So let's see why it's doing that. Why is it equal to 16? Let's get to here. Okay. Starts at 0. 16 is very strange for it to be, for sure. I don't think it's because I didn't initialize it. Let's try it and see. I mean, we shouldn't have to. It's a good idea to, in any case. 15. That was it. So I'd said that you don't have to worry about setting it to 0 anymore. Apparently that is incorrect. We now see that that is a problem. Okay. So we now know that's the answer. So we feel good about that as well. We can do a different line just to make sure it doesn't just repeat that, although it gave us a 3.2, which it wasn't. Okay, so I don't need this anymore. So I can go ahead and control K that one, get that out of there. Okay, and that's working okay. So now everything else should be good. The prints are okay. Okay, I'm gonna run it again. Oh, the pilot again. I didn't really change much. We can do that. Okay. Size of the array is 5. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. The average should be 3. That's correct, right? Because if you add those numbers together and divide by 5, you'll get 3. So let's try some more random numbers that we could then test it on a calculator to see. Okay. Let's just do 2. If we do a 1 and a 2, the answer should be 1.5. Okay. So I'm fairly confident that we're okay. Okay, that this is working for us. Okay. So we can clean things up a little bit. One thing I don't like the way the input looks. So let's see if we can clean that up real fast. Again, if you want that 10 out of 10 as opposed to an 8 or a 9, you want to make it pretty. Okay. Oh, we still didn't check the other thing. I almost forgot that. That could be a problem. So we have to figure out what we're going to do about the size of the array. Okay, and now we got to worry about this. Okay, so what we can do something like this. We can say they've entered the size of the array. We can say while, so I don't have that yet. I do that first. So I can say while size is greater than 100 or size was less than or equal to 0. We don't want it to be 0 either. Okay. See out size must be between 1 and 100. The new line character there. Put that out. And then I have to copy these things again. But to ask them for, yeah, you have to do that. Then end let. Okay, that will make them, if it's done correctly, see, we got it. We'll make them stay in that loop until they get it right. So if I enter the size to be 222, no, must be 1 in 100. Okay, what if I say 0? Nope. Say -2. Nope. What if I say 1? One's okay. Try it again. Let's say 100. 100's okay. I'm not going to sit there and do 100, so Control C will get you out of there. That seems like that's okay. Okay. So now let's look and see if we can make that input look a little better. Everything else is good. Okay, so we've got this dealt with and this dealt with. Okay, so we can go ahead and add our normal program block here with our name and all that stuff, which I'm not going to do. Okay. So the issue I have is in here as I'm going through the array right here. Okay. I want to, um, I guess I could put a tab here. It may look a little bit better. And let's do an integer space, space there, integer space. And let's do size plus one, which will give us the integer we're at. And then put that and see if that makes it any prettier. Okay, let's try that. Five. Oh, nope, size plus one is not correct. That was a mistake, right? I want I plus one. Yeah. So let's fix that one. Let's come down to here. And let's say, because we want one to be the first one. That would have printed six every time. I want I plus one. Okay. Size equal to 5. Okay. Gonna enter three. Uh, 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 Looks better. I'm happy with that. Okay, so I want to do a space before I do the minimum value, and then I probably want to tab over the numbers. Okay, so let's come down. Control V does a page down. Okay, so for this very first one, I'm going to go ahead and put a new line character in. Okay, and then um, I'm going to replace them with that, with tabs. I think I'll like that better. And a lot of this is personal personal preference. Let's see if I like that better. Okay. Five. Whatever I'm doing. Okay. I like that better. Okay. We got to enter the size of the array. We indent over when we're going through the integers 1 through 5. We get the minimum value, which is correct. We get the maximum value, which is correct. And with a calculator, we could figure out if that is in fact the average. Okay. And we should be good. Okay. So that's what we're talking about here, right? That's the idea um, of making the program work, making it look nice, and testing out some basic things. So let's look at what we didn't deal with yet. There's one thing I said we should check, but we didn't, and that's on the input. Yeah, we should verify, but we're not. Okay, and we won't do that yet. We'll deal with that probably later in the semester, but that's the basic thing. Okay, so if your program, if your arrayStats, so CPP, looks a little bit different from that, it's not a big deal, right? There are lots of options here. And for this first exercise, if you didn't do a dynamic array, you just assumed the size, or if you hard coded the values or whatever, yeah, it's not the end of the world in this one. I'll be leaning on this first one. But in general, try to learn to read the assignment more accurately. Okay. Okay, so if you have questions after viewing this video, please let me know in class, or you can send me a text and we'll deal with it. Okay, but if not, that's it for this video.